Ranger. Our beloved first tower. And maybe our most forgotten one. Well, to put it simply, is just because Ranger was never meant to scale anywhere past early game.
So for path 2 of Ranger, once you
today we're going to try and beat intermediate mode with only Ranger. I know it's gonna be
one-shot Ranger.
I would say kick them out if they're using Ranger.
Ranger can be used, but it's not recommended because it'll suffer on the late game waves a lot. Which is fine by me.
And maybe it had remained that way for a reason. But what if, just maybe, that was no longer the case? Recently, Ranger got a massive buff, boosting its capabilities in all 4 game modes. And because of this, I wanted to test out how Ranger performs in all 4 of these core game modes to see if Ranger could finally escape F tier. And spoiler alert, he does way better than that. So why don't we start it off with the game mode that I deem most fitting, Easy Mode. Why the hell am I even showing you this? I don't need to explain any of that. Fun fact, did you know that Ranger has been buffed at least 2 major times? Yeah, let me show it to you right here. And as you can see here, on April 12th, 2024, Ranger was hit with a buff, denoting that not only would Ranger have its grenades cooldowns reduced, it would also have its top path DPS increased to 120! That was a massive buff for Ranger, especially considering that Ranger could already solo easy mode on its own. And while Ranger hasn't actually been buffed in easy mode in this update, Ranger versus easy mode can still be best described as this bottle versus my fist. Ranger just makes the entirety of easy mode just get some! Just get some! Now, notably, Ranger has actually been buffed in intermediate mode, even though honestly it never really needed to be. After all, Ranger could already solo intermediate mode. But hey, you won't see me complaining about quality of life improvements for newer players. Thanks, John. Very cool. This of course doesn't mean that intermediate mode is now easier to solo with Ranger than in easy mode, but it does allow me to point out how good it is for newer players. After all, buffing Ranger is just giving the newer players more options since they're always guaranteed to have Ranger. But hey, I'm getting way too far ahead of myself here. Take a look at the gameplay behind us. You realize anything? That's right. Ranger is fucking balling! Introducing the Sexuala dos Predatoros Quinqueromani, or in this case better known as one of the few enemies actually capable of threatening Ranger's run. This is mainly due to the Sexuala dos Predatoros Quinqueromani's ability to almost one-shot every single Ranger at close range, including the maxed out ones. Especially the maxed out ones! Nevertheless, the Ranger still does a really good job at dealing with the Predator. The only real threat is that the Predator will make you lose a lot of money through killing your towers, and you'll definitely need that money for the upcoming battle in order to make it easier, which, make no mistake, is most certainly not a pushover when you compare it to the Plague Doctor and the Predator that we have fought thus far. Alright, stop! Now, normally I would do commentary midway through, but this time I thought it would be right to just let things play out on its own and then start talking about it. Now, the Eradicator is a very tough enemy, sporting lots of damage, well, specifically to Ranger, because, you know, he has like 300 health max, and also a heavy amount of health that's normally not meant to be dealt with the starting tower of the game. Because of this, the Eradicator is normally able to reach the end of the map before the Rangers are actually able to kill it, just like in this run right here, where the Eradicator actually reaches the end with almost 50% of its health remaining. So what made that run so different from my inevitable victory run? As you'll figure out sooner or later, that answer likely lies in Top Path Ranger. Now, ironically, I think for the most of early game elite mode, Ranger actually struggles more than Ranger does in expert mode, and most of that can be contributed to the Horde! Elite mode is a game mode that requires a lot of splash damage that Ranger doesn't really have, with the exception being his bottom path, of course, but you don't actually need bottom path. In fact, you barely need bottom path at all. So long as you have some semi-decent splash damage, such as Toxicnator, Top Path is actually efficient enough to solo most of the entire game.
Well, honestly, it's not quite soloing anymore. After all, you are using Toxicnator, and that's a second tower, so it doesn't...
In some ways, it honestly feels like Elite mode was made to be beaten with Ranger. For an example, Wave 7. In which hordes of infecteds alongside multiplier 1s spawn in order to ruin your day. On any other day, this would be quite annoying as you would have to manually target weakest in order to avoid popping the multipliers, and for the same reasons you would likely leak the multipliers themselves. But today is not that day. After all, a 4-2 Ranger conveniently has just enough damage to one-shot every single infected, clearing the wave easily. Naturally, this is not where Ranger's use cases end, with it scaling well to mid-game, late-game, mini-bosses, and bosses, all in record-breaking time. Although if I had to know any specific weaknesses for Ranger, it would probably be... Alright, let's get back on track. The King and Queen have arrived to challenge the one and only Ranger! And in this battle, they will unleash 120% of their power. But what they don't understand is that they finna gonna get cooked!
Bitch, this ticket is cooked!
After all, they're just in range of Ranger's domain expansion. U.S. military budget! In the domain expansion of the U.S. military budget, Ranger has just enough economy to place at least one every second, but also not enough to overcrowd the Rangers with Rangers. In other words, for the duration of this domain expansion, all enemies of the one and only Ranger are cooked. Now, if you happen to frequently play Elite Mode, then you would realize what's up and coming are flying enemies, aka the birds. And the birds pose a serious issue to Ranger, because Ranger is actually unable to target them. And you know, I find it really sad. I really do. Because all of Ranger's faults stem from that fateful day, in which Ranger got hit by a car.
Ranger is the best tower in the game, having unmatched DPS, unmatched range, and unmatched detections, being one of the few towers to have flying detections. However, all this changed when Golden Ranger attacked. Golden Ranger was a no-good scammer who took joy in stealing people's money by pretending to be the superior Ranger. But people were no longer buying into his scams, as everyone knew he had nothing to offer. Furious, Golden Ranger planned an assassination attempt on Ranger. Using his knowledge of Ranger's dogophobia, Golden Ranger hid in a corner and sneaked attacked Ranger with his terrifyingly gruesome pit bull, and he succeeded. Ranger had leapt back in terror into the oncoming car, and had been hit by a car, developing drooped neck syndrome, and being unable to move his neck up and down to detect flying enemies. What a cruel story for such a great tower.
And that, my friends, is why we will be using AA Turret to defeat the flying enemies and aid our friend Ranger on his journey. And that journey will...
Okay, now you're actually cheating. You are literally substituting a large portion of Ranger's DPS against a specific type of enemy, using a DPS tower, you stupid f***ing
Cheaters? Where? I don't see any. Just like how you won't be seeing much of the Cyber Dragon, because that guy is actually somewhat of a pushover. By pushover, I mean as in you can literally just place a singular top path AA turret, and the dragon will die over the course of 6 or 7 waves. And while we're waiting for him to do exactly that, I might as well show you some cool stuff, like this 6-7 sprite sheet that I made, which is totally why this video took 2 months to make. And I mean, like, come on guys, like, the sprites were a lot of work. I definitely didn't do half of them 12 months ago. That would be really odd of me. I never plan ahead. And I mean, the dragon is gonna die anyway, so let's just move on to the next topic. Now, to be completely honest with you, the act of beating Elite mode with mainly Ranger is actually way more complicated than what I just showed. There's a lot of micro involved, especially if you don't want to use a tower that now costs 10,000 gems! Although regardless, Ranger still faces some sparse trouble, especially in regards to armored enemies, resistances, and, of course, the Horde. But the truth is that I don't actually see this as Ranger's weakness, but more so as a showcase of just how far Ranger has come. After all, with it having enough versatility to crush through even the toughest resistances, enough DPS to defeat even the fastest tanks in time, alongside the strength to overcome one of the strongest bosses in the game, all as the tower once seen as useless past the start of said game. How poetic is that, man? And hey, I think you're just as interested as I am to see how Ranger fares in perhaps one of the most technical game modes in the entire game, Expert Mode. Now, to be completely honest with you, I don't actually plan on editing this section of the video much, as I believe actions, or rather gameplay, would speak much louder than words. So if anyone skipped to this section of the video expecting the greatest, hypest edits ever, I'm sorry, most of that is laid within Elite mode, and this is just supposed to be a general demonstration of Ranger's capabilities. Now, another thing to note is that throughout the video, you'll see the usage of the shield tower, which is worth 2,000 gems. Now, to most players, this shouldn't even actually matter. Like, honestly, most people have shield tower by now. But the thing to note is that this is actually a viable grinding strategy, one that is viable without the usage of shield tower. And as such, I feel obligated to add a couple of tips and tricks along the way as to how you can do this strategy without the usage of said shield tower. And now, with all of that out of the way, let us begin the gameplay. Hello everybody, it's Krista Bro, as you all know, and I hope you enjoyed the video. This video took way longer than expected because originally it was meant to literally just be me playing expert mode with Ranger and showcasing, Ranger, so good, so strong, so cost efficient, so excellent for expert mode. But then I went on a tangent, and then I edited most of the video, redoing it a couple of times and attempting to make it as high quality as possible in order to, well, effectively make myself feel as if it's satisfactory. And I hope you enjoyed that process, because generally it's just meant to be a video for every single one of you to enjoy. So once again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and maybe, just maybe, I'll see you next time. As a light favor between the two of us though, there may be a chance that this video gets shadow banned. I have no idea actually. YouTube recently struck down one of my previous videos, so if that happens and you really enjoyed the video, maybe consider sharing it with others. It's just it's a big favor really. But either way, hope you enjoyed the video, hope you have a great day, and maybe, just maybe, I'll see you all next time.